actors playing Vulcans. They have this misconception that playing a Vulcan means you're just dry and unengaging. Basically, it's an excuse not to act. You just read the lines.
In human terms, I am proposing marriage. Do you accept?
Right.
Which is not true. You don't put yourself in a neck brace to act like a Vulcan. And that's what made Spock, Leonard Nimoy, so good at it. There was some sort of gravitas that came with it. Granted, in the show, less so. He was being a little bit more I'm an alien type of thing.
Right.
But when it came to the movies, it was super subtle, but still a lot of depth. So Tuvok plays it like he's doing an impression of Chevy Chase, doing an impression of Spock.
She believes that she made an error in judgment 4 years ago, that she's responsible for stranding Voyager in the Delta Quadrant.
The computer has identified the alien vessel as a 1968 Chrysler Imperial with a tinted windshield and retractable headlights.
That's always how it read to me. And it's much harder to act like a Vulcan, in my opinion, than just to act like a human reading the lines.
Well, so I will say it's got to be even harder. Like, who was the first person to ever play a Vulcan?
I think it was Leonard Nimoy.
Well, no, because he played a half human, half Vulcan. And that's the...
Okay.
Well, right, I know that I'm splitting hairs here, but like that means he was able to convey more emotion in his dialogue than a regular Vulcan should have.
I mean, I kind of disagree with that. I felt like that Spock was always rejecting his humanity. And the caveat being here that I haven't seen a lot of the original series. And so if that is the prototype for Spock, then maybe he goes against that in the later movies. But what I like about Spock is that he seems to be rejecting that humanity, but it kind of coming through in some ways.
She does not know.
Right. But that means the next person who played a Vulcan had to go even further distant from having human emotions.
Right, but if Spock was trying to reject his humanity,
he was constantly trying to reject it.
Right. So in that sense, probably what we're getting most of the time from Spock is the way a Vulcan acts, as opposed to like B'Elanna in Voyager, where she's half Klingon, and she sort of splits the line all the time, where she's temperamental and irascible, but she also has sort of a soft part to her that is always fighting. With Spock, I don't get that.
Okay, so with B'Elanna, she hated her Klingon side, and she always tried to oppress it. But there was always this rage that built up in her that she had to constantly suppress.
Right.
So she was
arguably a less subtle
not arguably
expression of that. Yeah.
Unanimously.